It was supposed to be just another Tuesday, September 14th, 2004. The kind of crisp autumn morning where you can still smell summer in the air, but there's that hint of change coming. At Riverside Elementary School in Cedar Falls, Iowa, 5 children walked through those doors that morning. By 3:15 p.m., they had vanished without a trace. Their names were Emma Rodriguez, age 8, Tyler Brennan, age 9, Sophie Chen, age 7, Marcus Williams, age 10, and little Lily Foster, who had just turned 6 3 days earlier. For 15 years, their families lived in agony, not knowing, always wondering, hoping against hope that maybe, just maybe, their babies were still out there somewhere. And then, in the summer of 2019, a landscaper's shovel hit something in a backyard just 4 miles from that school. What they found would shatter a community all over again and expose a darkness that had been hiding in plain sight for over a decade. This is the story of the Riverside Five and the monster who was trusted with their education. Let me take you back to that day, September 14th, 2004. Emma Rodriguez's mother, Maria, had packed her daughter's favorite lunch that morning: peanut butter and jelly with the crusts cut off, apple slices, and a juice box with a note that said, "You're my sunshine." Maria would keep that note template on her computer for the next 15 years, never able to delete it. Tyler Brennan's father, Jack, a firefighter, had worked a double shift the night before, but he still woke up early to make his son pancakes shaped like footballs. Tyler was obsessed with football. He slept in his jersey. Jack still keeps that jersey in a plastic bag in his closet. He's never washed it. He says he can still smell his son on it. Sophie Chen was the quiet one, the artist. Her mother, Lynn, had just bought her a new set of colored pencils, the expensive kind from the art store. Sophie had been so excited she could barely sleep. She'd drawn a picture of her family that morning before school, all of them holding hands under a rainbow. Lynn still has that drawing framed above her bed. Marcus Williams was the protector, the oldest of the 5, the one who always made sure the younger kids got on the bus safely. His grandmother, Dorothy, who raised him after his parents died in a car accident, had told him that morning, "You're going to do great things, baby." Marcus had hugged her extra tight. "I know, Gram. I love you." And little Lily Foster, sweet Lily with the gap-toothed smile and pigtails her father, Robert, had carefully braided that morning while her mother, Sarah, made breakfast. It was Lily's first year in real school, not just pre-K. She was so proud of her Dora the Explorer backpack. "I'm a big girl now, Daddy," she'd said. By 3:15 p.m. that afternoon, all 5 of them were gone. The panic started slowly, then all at once. Emma's mother, Maria, was always the first parent in the pickup line, but when she got there at 3:10 p.m., Emma never came out. At first, the school secretary thought maybe Emma had gone home on the bus by mistake, but Emma never took the bus. Maria always picked her up. Tyler was supposed to be picked up by his grandmother, who noticed he wasn't at his usual spot. Sophie's mother was running late, stuck in traffic, but when she arrived at 3:25, frantic and apologetic, Sophie was nowhere to be found. Marcus walked home every day. His grandmother Dorothy waited on the porch, watching the clock. 3:30, 3:45, 4 o'clock. By 4:15, she was calling the school. And Lily's parents both worked, so Lily went to the after-school program. But when Sarah Foster arrived at 5:30 p.m. to pick up her daughter, the after-school coordinator looked confused. "Lily never checked in today." By 6 p.m., 5 families were in complete panic. By 7 p.m., the police had been called. By 9 p.m., every news station in Iowa was broadcasting their faces. The FBI arrived the next morning. What baffled investigators was that there was no evidence, no witnesses, no surveillance footage that captured anything unusual. The school had cameras, but there was a blind spot near the west exit, the one closest to the staff parking lot.
The after-school coordinator
that exit
looked
required
confused.
a key card.
Lily never checked in today. By 6 p.m., 5 families were in complete panic. By 7 p.m., the police had been called. By 9 p.m., every news station in Iowa was broadcasting their faces. The FBI arrived the next morning. What baffled investigators was that there was no evidence, no witnesses, no surveillance footage that captured anything unusual. The school had cameras, but there was a blind spot near the west exit, the one closest to the staff parking lot. That exit required a key card. Only staff had access. The last confirmed sighting of all 5 children was in Mr. Daniel Hutchins' classroom at 2:45 p.m. Mr. Hutchins, 39 years old, had been teaching at Riverside Elementary for 12 years. He was beloved. Parents requested him. Kids loved his science experiments and the way he did funny voices when he read stories. He was the last person to see them alive. In the days and weeks that followed, Cedar Falls became a town paralyzed by fear and grief. Volunteers searched every inch of the surrounding area. Dogs tracked scents that led nowhere. Divers searched the Cedar River. The FBI interviewed over 300 people. Sex offenders within a 50-mile radius were questioned and re-questioned. Parents were polygraphed. Teachers, staff members, the janitor, the lunch ladies, everyone, including Daniel Hutchins. He passed. For 5 families, time stopped. Maria Rodriguez stopped going to work. She spent every day making flyers, organizing searches, appearing on news programs. Her marriage fell apart within a year. Tyler's father, Jack, started drinking. He'd sit in Tyler's room for hours, just staring at the walls covered in football posters. Sophie's mother, Lynn, became a ghost of herself. Friends said she'd sometimes set the table for 5 people, forgetting for just a moment that Sophie wouldn't be coming home. Marcus's grandmother, Dorothy, aged 20 years in the span of 6 months. She'd still cook his favorite meal every Sunday, just in case this was the day he walked through that door. And Lily's parents, Robert and Sarah, they had it perhaps the worst. Lily was their only child. Sarah had suffered 3 miscarriages before Lily. They'd called her their miracle baby. Now their miracle was gone, and they had nothing. No body to bury, no closure, just an empty room with a Dora bedspread and drawings on the wall. The first year, the media coverage was constant. The second year, it slowed. By the 5th year, the Riverside Five had become a cold case, a tragic mystery that people talked about in hushed tones but had mostly accepted would never be solved. The families never accepted it. They couldn't. June 22nd, 2019, a Sunday. Daniel Hutchins had retired from teaching 3 years earlier. He was 54 years old now, living alone in a modest 2-story house on Maple Street, the same house he'd owned since 2001, 4 miles from Riverside Elementary. His neighbors described him as quiet, friendly enough mostly. He kept to himself mostly, did yard work on weekends, waved when people passed by. There was nothing remarkable about Daniel Hutchins, nothing that would make you look twice. That Sunday, Hutchins had hired a landscaping company to redo this backyard. He'd told the owner, Miguel Santos, that he wanted to put in a patio and a garden. Miguel and his crew had started early, around 7 a.m. By 9:30 a.m., Miguel's shovel hit something hard about 3 feet down in the northwest corner of the yard. At first he thought it was a rock, But when he cleared away more dirt, he saw fabric. Old, rotted fabric. And then his shovel scraped against something else, something that made his blood run cold. Bone. Miguel called 911 at 9:47 a.m. Police arrived within minutes. By noon, the FBI had been contacted. By 3 p.m., the entire backyard was a crime scene, and forensic teams were carefully excavating what would turn out to be the most horrific discovery in Iowa's history. They found 5 sets of remains. Small remains. Children's remains. Along with those remains, they found a Dora the Explorer backpack, a football jersey with the number 12, a set of expensive colored pencils in a clear case, a lunchbox with faded stickers, a small pair of light-up sneakers. The items were sent for testing, but the investigators already knew. After 15 years,
August
the
2019,
Riverside Five
after
had
the
been
remains
found.
were released.
They'd been there the
15
whole
years late.
time, buried in
3
the
of the 5
backyard of the
families
man they'd
opted for
trusted,
closed caskets.
the man who'd passed
What
a
was
polygraph,
left after 15
the
years
man
in the
who'd
ground
attended their
wasn't
vigils,
their babies
who'd
anymore.
hugged their crying parents,
bones
who'd
and
given a
DNA
tearful
and
interview
medical
saying he
examiners'
prayed for their
reports.
safe return every single
Maria
night.
Rodriguez had an open
Daniel
casket for
Hutchins
Emma.
was arrested at
She'd
his
dressed her
sister's
in a
house
white
2
dress.
hours later.
She'd put Emma's
He'd
favorite
run,
doll in the casket
but he didn't
with
run
her.
far.
She'd
Maybe
kissed
some
her
part of
daughter's
him
tiny
knew his
casket
time
and
had
whispered,
finally come.
"I'm sorry I couldn't find
In the
you."
interview room,
so
Daniel
sorry,
Hutchins
baby.
sat silently for 4
The
hours.
entire town of
His
Cedar
lawyer
Falls
advised
showed
him
up.
not to say anything.
Thousands of people.
But something
Many who'd
broke
helped
inside
search
him.
15 years ago, all carrying sunflowers, Emma's favorite. Daniel Hutchins pleaded guilty to all charges. 5 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of kidnapping, multiple other charges related to the abuse those children suffered. There was no trial. He waived his right to one. "I don't deserve to make these families sit through that," he told the judge. It was the only decent thing he'd done in 15 years. On December 10, 2019, he was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. He'll die in prison, that's guaranteed. At the sentencing hearing, all 5 families gave victim impact statements. Maria Rodriguez could barely speak. She held a photo of Emma, taken the morning of September 14, 2004, Emma smiling in her school clothes, excited for the day ahead. "You took my sunshine," Maria said to Hutchins. "You took her smile, her laugh, her future. You took everything." Jack Brennan addressed Hutchins directly. "My son looked up to you. He came home excited about your class every single day. He trusted you, and you betrayed that in the worst way possible. I hope you never know a moment of peace for the rest of your miserable life." The others spoke too, each one devastating, each one a testament to lives destroyed, to grief that would never fully heal, to the hole left by children who should be 23, 24, 22, 25, and 21 years old now, who should be graduating college, starting careers, maybe getting married, maybe having children of their own. Instead, they're buried in a cemetery on a hill overlooking Cedar Falls. 5 headstones in a row, 5 children who never got to grow up. Hutchins never looked at the families during their statements. He kept his eyes down, the coward's way. Even in his confession, even in his guilty plea, he couldn't face what he'd done. He's currently incarcerated at the Iowa State Penitentiary, in protective custody, because even hardened criminals don't tolerate child killers. He'll spend the rest of his days in a small cell, alone with his thoughts and his guilt. It's not enough. It will never be enough. Today, if you drive through Cedar Falls, Iowa, you'll see a memorial at Riverside Elementary. 5 metal silhouettes of children holding hands with their names
Dear
and birth
Maria,
dates engraved
Jack,
beneath.
Lynn,
The dedication
Dorothy,
reads,
Robert,
Emma,
and Sarah.
Tyler,
Most of us will
Sophie,
never know
Marcus,
the depth
and
of your
Lily.
pain.
Forever
We'll
young,
never understand
forever
what it's
loved,
like to wait
forever
15
missed.
years for a phone call
Every September
that brings both
14th,
relief
the community
and
gathers
devastation.
They release
We'll
balloons.
never know how you
They lay
survived
flowers. They remember.
5,475
Maria Rodriguez
days
still
of not
visits
knowing
Emma's grave
if your
every
child
single
was
day.
suffering somewhere.
She brings fresh flowers.
Calling out for
She
you,
talks to her daughter.
wondering why
tells
you
her
didn't
about her
come.
day. Asks her
But we
opinion
see
on
you.
things.
We
I know
see
she can
Maria
hear me.
bringing fresh flowers
to be able
every
to hear
single
me.
day. We see Jack teaching
Brennan
other
finally
children
got
the
so-
safety lessons he wishes he'd taught Tyler. We see Lynn funding young artists so that Sophie's creative spirit lives on. We see Dorothy's final wish to rest beside her grandson. We see Robert and Sarah choosing to love again by opening their home to hope. You didn't just survive. You transformed your suffering into something meaningful. And that's the lesson here. Not that evil exists, we knew that, but that love is more powerful, that hope can grow even in the darkest soil, that purpose can be found even in the deepest pain. To everyone watching, these families don't need your pity, they need your action. Talk to your children about safety. Teach them that some secrets should never be kept, that their instincts matter, that they can always come to you no matter what. Support organizations that protect children, that search for missing persons, that help families navigate unimaginable loss. Be aware in your own community. The monster in this story wasn't a stranger. He was trusted. He was known. He was hiding in plain sight. Check in on people who've experienced loss. They don't need you to have the perfect words. They need you to remember. They need you to show up. They need you to say their child's name out loud and acknowledge that they existed, that they